lurid language of tabloid newspapers. No, nothing. That's why I was heading up here, for a bit of solitude. The only sounds I could hear weren't human. The creaking of the old windmill, the rustling of the undergrowth, and the tinkling of goat bells. Are you sure you weren't trying to get Marina alone, as this is the only place on the island where you can get a mobile signal? We all knew she would head here at our first break. I folded my arms across my chest. The last thing I wanted was more one-to-one time with Marina after the embarrassing incident on the plane. For goodness sake, Ben, why'd you have to sensationalise everything? I know for a fact she was short-sighted but wouldn't wear glasses. You know what Marina was like with selfies for her social media accounts. She might have been so busy posing that she took a step too far back. Chances are it was a tragic accident. I flinched as I realised I was speaking about Marina in the past tense already. Of course, there have been press reports of accidents like that every holiday season since the invention of the selfie. But, accident or murder, one thing's for sure. The disappearance of Marina Milanese will be international headline news. And, as the only member of the press on the island, I plan to land the scoop. Chapter 2. Sophie's Odyssey. The previous week. Once I'd got over the initial excitement of winning my free place in the competition, I hadn't really wanted to come on this writer's retreat. Are you sure it's not transferable? I leaned on the trade counter, fixing Hector with as appealing a gaze as I could muster. I knew he had a thing about my eyes, but now he avoided them, swivelling around on his stool to flick through the order book on the shelf behind him. Absolutely not, sweetheart. You won the place fair and square, and I'm not about to take that from you. But you're the real writer here, not me. I shall feel a fraud pitching up at a writer's retreat. The others will soon rumble that I'm not in their league. Hector closed the order book and returned it to the shelf. How do you know what they'll be like? They might be even less experienced than you. I could have done without the even. Sensing my irritation, he sought to stop digging his inadvertent hole. What I mean is, you won your place on merit. The writing magazine wouldn't have given you the prize if they didn't think you were up to it. Merit? The only evidence they had of my supposed writing talent wasn't even a complete sentence. Eat my words. The confessions of an encyclopedia salesman. A throwaway line, a joke, and not a very good one. You bamboozled me. Hector couldn't argue with that. He'd simply borrowed my quip without my permission and entered it into the writing magazine's competition to dream up a fun book title. The first I had known about it was when he told me I'd won a free place on a spring writing retreat on Ithaca. He tried a conciliatory smile. Maybe they just want you as a foil to make the others look better. That didn't help. To be fair, I had no doubt that Hector's intentions had been honourable. He knew I wanted to write books, just like my great Auntie May, the famous travel writer whose cottage I'd inherited the previous summer. May had helped Hector set up Hector's house, his bookshop in the village, providing start-up capital and moral support. He tried to repay her kindness by giving me a job in his bookshop and by encouraging me to pursue my writing ambitions. Falling in love with me was an unintended consequence. I was nowhere near as confident as he was in my potential as a writer, having only just started to take my writing seriously. I'd joined the village writers' group to spur me on, but most of its members were no further forward than I was. Since my move to Wendlebury Barrow, the only work I'd shared in public was a nativity play that had resulted in the whole village being accused of murder, and Travels with My Aunt's Garden, my monthly seasonal nature notes column in the parish magazine, inspired by my aunt's cottage garden. I didn't count the half-finished novels I'd brought with me to my new home, nor the stash of short stories piling up on my aunt's old writing desk. I'd never shown them to anyone else, not even Hector. Especially not Hector. In the meantime, Hector, writing under his secret pseudonym, had completed and published 2 more romantic novels and continued to be a best-selling fiction author, at least in his own bookshop.